are a vessel of energy, and energy is infinitely existent. Beyond this realm of existence, energy can never die, only transmute into something entirely new. And if you are an embodiment of this immense potentiality, then you too can never truly die. The end of life, death as we say, can be a scary concept for many to comprehend. But the end of this chapter is only the prequel to the next story that is being written by your soul. You currently exist in a three-dimensional place, but within your imagination resides a metaphysical higher dimensional space, and it is this area where you operate as a higher singularity. Perhaps when we die, it is your ego which completes its mission, and that ego which has been formulated through life experience is simply not you. You are the observer of humanity, and humanity is just one piece of the great life puzzle that is definably and
Hey guys.
Hey there.
I'm gonna sit you up here. Careful. Back with another Wide Awake video. I'm Blue Jaden Robinson. That's London Robinson. And I'm gonna start out with a Bible scripture. And this Bible scripture can be related to challenging situations connected to emotional resilience. Okay, so it can be connected to emotional resilience. Gentle answer deflects anger, but harsh words stir up wrath. This is directly from the book of Proverbs 15:1. Even in the face of provocation, respond gently and respond calmly. Stop. Okay. Okay. So I will begin with my lesson for today. Sorry, I'm a little distracted, but nevertheless, let me get myself together. Okay, so the Gray Rock method. Okay, this is a method that we use specifically for toxic situations, specifically for toxic individuals, toxic people. That would include narcissists, that would include manipulators, people who seek out drama. If you ever notice a person and you're hanging out with them, and every time you're hanging out with them, they pointing out everybody around them and what they don't got or what they are doing, instead of focusing on what they have for themselves or putting on focus on the situation at hand, which there's plenty of things to focus on other than what other people are doing, right? So the Gray Rock method, this is a boundary tool, okay? And I just want to go over a few key points that will help when using the Gray Rock method. You're supposed to be, the idea is to be just like a gray rock, which is, if you think of a rock, it is, boring. It's just sitting there. It's neutral. You know what I mean? And that's what we want to be in situations when we have, are engaged with provocation. So manipulators lose power when they can't get a reaction. They thrive on attention and emotional reactions. Oftentimes than not, if you give nothing, then they get nothing, right? So if you don't react to the tactic that they're trying to come at you with, then they don't win. So we have to teach ourselves to stop reacting and to start responding to these situations. The more emotion that you give, the more control that they have and that they will take of the situation. So when you're giving off signs like constant sighing or glares or frustrated tones of voice, this will invite more of a manipulation into the interaction. So we want to keep calm and control replies. These would include statements like, I see, or noted, or simply just say, okay, and leave it at that. Make yourself uninteresting, okay? Do not share anything exciting. Let me give you an example. Somebody that you work with, You know them to start drama at work. You know that they gossip about other people, so it's more likely that they will gossip about you once you are not in their presence. They asked you what you were doing for the weekend. You could simply respond with something neutral and dry, like, fine, just did some chores, nothing exciting, everything is fine, right? Don't feed the conversation. Silence is smarter than trying to explain. Don't initiate any kind of new topics or provide any kind of interesting details. When tempted to further explain yourself, you can just simply say, that's all I have to say. The next key point is to keep your face and your body calm. I learned something over watching a TED Talk, and this was ESL. ESL is a tactic that the FBI will use to study murderers, to study suspicious behavior. So ESL, the acronym that was explained was everyone's second language. And so it stands for, the E is for eye blocking, okay? I don't know if you've ever engaged with anyone that tend to look away, constantly look away, close their eyes for long periods of time during the conversation. Maybe they would wear a shade or something like that, or, you know, anything that would basically be trying to cover up your eyes. That's called eye blocking, okay? And that's suspicious behavior. This means that they are trying to hide something. Pay attention to that. Another sign of ESL is shoulder shrugging. If you're talking to a person and they're constantly shoulder shrugging, this is a sign of suspicious behavior. The L in ESL stands for lip locking, which would look something like this. Usually people who tend to lip lock have just engaged with something that they did not like, that they did not want to hear, that they did not want to see, and so you will see them. So pay attention. When using this with the gray rock method, our eye contact, our facial tension, and crossed arms, these all signal emotional engagement. If you ever find yourself talking to a person and they're crossing their arms, that's a defense standpoint. That's a defensive posture. You know, if somebody's crossing their arms, or, you know, has a frustrated look on their face or whatever, you're often going to know that something is wrong with that person. And so when manipulators see you give these kind of signs off during engagement in a conflict or a provocation, this will invite more control for them. You know what I'm saying? So what we want to do is we want to keep a natural, neutral posture, relaxed face, low tones of voice. This is where our power lies, right? Because then we're not giving in to escalating the situation. And also remind yourself to breathe slowly during this. So it's going to be okay. You can remind yourself when you're done and out of it that you are safe and that you're protected once you get out of the conflict. And try to keep your hands relaxed right in front of you. Stop justifying yourself is another key point. Every explanation gives more room for the manipulator to twist things. So constant explanation. If you're constantly explaining yourself, this will basically implicate that you are uncertainty. So when pressed, say calmly, that's just how I prefer it. That's an example of a line that you can say to stop justifying yourself. And so in this moment, I want to talk about preparing a mental script. It's easy to freeze up when you're in the moment of something, right? That's why you want to be ready before it starts. So I broke this down into 4 categories, and I call them the gray rock neutral lines, right? So the first one I broke down was calm acknowledgments. You could say something like, I hear what you're saying, or I understand that you feel very strongly about this. The next one that I broke down was non-committal responses. I'll think about it, or that's an interesting perspective you have on the situation. Boundary setting statements. I'd prefer not to engage in this conversation if it's not going to be productive. I'm not comfortable engaging in this conversation with you. And the last one is redirecting statements. Let's focus on, and then you can follow up with a specific topic, or I'd like to move forward with an alternative topic. Next key point is know when to exit, right? And we're gonna exit with grace. We're not gonna exit with guilt. We're not. Okay, so before I got cut off, it said know when to exit. That was my key point. So some conversations aren't worth your peace. We're gonna exit with grace. We're not gonna exit with guilt, anger. We're not gonna let the situation escalate into something that could potentially be detrimental or life or death, right?
Please get me down. Hi.
Okay. Let me finish up. 2 seconds. Here, London. Please, let me finish. Okay. So, something you could say to exit would be, I need to go now. Take care. And so my last one is, boredom is your armor. The less that you give, the faster that they lose interest. Being boring isn't a weakness. Sometimes it's called strategic self-defense. And I watched this video, and honestly, it's okay to feel like a pushover sometimes if you know that you're being the bigger person. And a lot of people are afraid of being the bigger person, and they let their ego get in the way of how much you value the person. And so sometimes, often not, we can't force others to be where we want them to be. We can't force people to be, different or change. So when you love someone and they're toxic, or, they refuse to change, it's not your job to take that on. Okay? It's your job to protect yourself. It's your job to, calm your nervous system and to manage your mental well-being. So whereas we wish these people well, genuine relationships deserve authentic conversation. If these people aren't authentic, if these people are not genuine, if these people mean you harm, then, you have to ask yourself, am I emotionally drained, or am I just being emotionally challenged? And so don't take it lightly when you're applying the Grey Rock method. This is not for everybody. This is simply for toxic individuals. So I hope you enjoyed our video. Tune in with us, send me a DM, send me what you thought, and we'll see you next time. God bless.
God bless.